March 17 event. So for someone that we call like team leader and some facilitators 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you will see who is who in a minute. And I actually, by the way, I uploaded this to the chat so you can look at this. We want you to like, because I'm going to invite the people that I already invited, and I will invite other people from the website primarily to come to this like March 17 meeting. But I want you to also contact the people that I put the names of people that are important for what you're doing, and people that might be stakeholders in the website, or you might identify other groups that are important in the website. So I want you to invite people actually to come to these via email and via social media. Just kind of make a list of people to invite. And however, like everything will be online the way that we do outreach. So for the other parts, when we are going to meet in person, many of these, there's obviously the 24th is online, but the one that is the 26th and the 27th, we will be in the park. So we do want to invite the people that surround the area for those. So first of all, and we will do that on March 20th from 3 to 5. And we want to, again, just distribute some flyers. I want you to pick like 3 or 4 people from your team that will come to do that. And we just, if we see people, that's what I need to add. If we actually see people, we can ask them, oh, come to this, but we are also collecting the names of people for the fall to get a free tree. And so I needed to add like a link for you to actually enter the information of these people. And of course, on that day, I will bring some clipboarding where, if you find people, I don't anticipate that it will be tons of people really that you will actually see, but there might be people, sitting in the porch, or people that you see that might be interested. And then on the Wednesday, the 31st, we have like presentations, just like we did today. But obviously you will have to choose like even less people. So this today we all presented, but for the next presentations coming up, it will be like a selection of people. I also wanted to say, and this is later on for the rubrics, that most of the grading will be actually like in this part done by your colleagues, just to, because again, it's hard for me to tell what are like some of the group dynamics and how people are contributing and so on. So I decided to move forward with that. Okay, so I would just keep going, and then we can have like some questions, but we always have like a description of the course objective. So what we are learning is to do like community engagement in this in particular, because you guys will be leading these workshops. And we also will be talking to stakeholders about placemaking ideas and about implementation. So this is like what I already said, like in terms of the pre-event, we will be inviting people online. We will be like also going to the Poplar Grove to distribute flyers. And by the way, this is part of this activity, the placemaking, but the Nancy and Luis are doing like it's like maybe like a week before we actually do the events, like on April 24th. So there will be like part of the grading for that, that you guys like will also pick some people to go and invite people to to that event. So basically we'll invite people for 2 things. And even if you think about it, like 2 things is not enough. Like usually is there's some studies that show that someone has to be told many times. At times it could be like, the studies that says like, invited like 6 times and then someone will actually come. So I don't anticipate that even with like these efforts that many people will come, but it is an important thing to do, to invite people and get their support as well. Even if they don't come, they might tell you things, which is usually what ends up happening. And then so we have like this workshop, which is the Placeit. We will not see each other next week. We have office hours, so I have office hours from 6 to 7. And also, like, if you want to come and meet with your group, we can facilitate that. You can come and be in breakout rooms and all that. But the idea is that also we have a break, right? So it's completely voluntary. And so this event is like just like today from 6 to 7:30, just like today. All the events that are open to the public is the same link with the Reimagine Nature password. And then we will have 3 breakout rooms for each one of your teams. And I have assigned these roles for each one of you. So we have like, your name and just the what you need to do. It will be a little bit below. So the first 20 minutes is just like, an introduction to James and all that, and then we will go in the breakout rooms. There's 2 activities that we will be doing. It's very important that you read these in detail because we will not be we will give the instructions obviously at the talk, but you really need to come knowing what you're doing, right? Because it will be members of the public and you will be running these small meetings. So basically what we have here is like the facilitators, team leader and facilitators 1, 2, and 3 will invite the stakeholders and people that are interested via email, social media. And then these are just like some of the roles. And then here we get at the questions. But the recorder number 1 will take notes of what it was said using this template. And this like to take you to just like something that looks like those notes that we use for the stakeholders. So it will be something very simple like attendees, date, what people said. And there will be a recorder that is solely dedicated to do that. And then I want that recorder to upload to a Google Drive this information. And for this first workshop, it will be like within 24 hours that we will have everything that we need, because we are not creating further synthesis. There will be another group that is doing that later. And then so you will be like, just it says instructions of how to save the file in there when you go to the folder. Then the second recorder is going to download the chat, which you don't download on your own, right? And then just kind of organize the comments, but those are the ones from the chat again, and don't just upload those. We have like one person that will be just keeping track of the time, and also a team leader is just like making sure that everybody's doing their job and just kind of like follow up with people. And the timekeeper and team leader, if like for some reason like someone didn't show up or something happened, you have to step up and then be able to do what somebody else was doing. However, these things are like pretty simple. Like facilitator number 1 will be in the first, there's 2 exercises, right? So this one is kind of like an icebreaker. the one that is like 20 minutes, and there's one that is slightly longer, which is the exercise that we answer the question that we want to answer. But basically in this one, the facilitator one will ask the participants to build their favorite childhood memory in 5 minutes, choosing from small objects around their home or office. And this, if you go here, these are, this is what people did. Just kind of like, some people have lots of stuff, like this person here. And some people didn't have that many things. So you just kind of like tell people, to find objects. Something that, because it's about building, this is something that James Rojas always does for the icebreaker, is something that doesn't have anything to do with planning, really. So it's kind of like building your favorite childhood memory. And then, so it's a way to get people talking, right? Because part of the idea is like to remove barriers that have to do with like technical knowledge or things that, usually you don't think about. And getting you excited about something that is like personal, but also opening up people, because this could be something kind of cool, like building your favorite childhood memory. And I think that some of the things that he talks about is like, a lot of people in Mexico, they like grew up like in the farms, and or at least their grandma will have a farm. So you will talk about, animals, and like about um just um that feeling when you're like a kid and you're in a space that you really enjoy, or your places to hide, whatever, right? And then so that facilitator will just talk about, trying to find some object that have like deep personal meaning, or you can also find something mundane that doesn't have anything to do. Just kind of encourage people to find, find stuff. And then you can use this as a prompts for storytelling to see if some of these things have meaning behind, just a mere object. And then people are encouraged to build on like tables or in floors or window sills. And they will also be encouraged to choose actual objects from their childhood if they can find it, right? And these are just kind of like examples, so you can see what people make. But this like first exercise is going to be mostly on the chat, because we want it to also be kind of short. We want people to find the objects, right? And then just take a picture. So the recorder number 3 is going to ask everyone to like show the picture at the same time, and then take a picture of like whatever people created, and then upload that picture into the Google Drive. And then facilitator number 2 will ask each person to write down this memory on the chat, and then the facilitator number 2 will read what people are writing there. You might invite people to verbalize some things if you need clarification, or if you find something really cool and you want people to verbalize it. And then facilitator number 3 will ask, okay, so do I see any common things in here? For example, places to hide, places to be quiet, like, I don't know, like maybe people like to read, or they like nature. So just kind of highlight what are some common themes from there. And then, as I said before, this is mostly through the chat, because we're trying to keep it short, and we're trying to have people to engage in this. And this is just an icebreaker, so we're less interested in this or the actual plan, or for using it for ourselves. So this is the part that we care the most about. This like, and we are going to like move the activity, and we will be the same group that people will be in. And then we will, I will say, move to the second activity. And in this one, then the facilitator number one will ask like participants to build a park with equity and placemaking in mind. So thinking of art, culture, storytelling, benches, whatever it is. And each participant has like 5 minutes, just like before, to build the park that they want using the same objects. So the idea of inviting them to find their objects before is that now they have the objects, so they will probably take less time to get their stuff, right? And if they can add other objects as well. And then, so for this one, once the participants complete building the park, there will be like a Google form that people, they will need to go to. I'm just kind of like going there so you see it. So there will be someone in charge of saying, if you could please, then after you build, that park that is equitable and that is like has elements of that has a sense of place, put your name and then upload the picture and kind of like describe the image. I put, several opportunities here, and I see now that the description here is gone, so I will have to edit this. But just one image is fine, but if people wanted to add more, that's fine as well. Oh, I cannot go back, seems like. Sorry. Just trying to find again the document. Okay. So for this, we care, right, about collecting all those pictures and like what people are describing. And then I have the facilitator number 2 to ask participants to do like a show and tell. So each participant will be invited to present what they built to the group. And obviously the recorder is taking notes on this. And facilitator number 3 then will ask like just about what were some of the common ideas that we see in activities or infrastructure, and then you can provide some definitions here. And many of these things you can copy and paste in the chat so people like see them. We will also share these guidelines with people, but obviously it's your responsibility to like guide them through this. And then facilitator number 1 will kind of like tell people what is next and invite them for this like workshops. So I already posted the link for that today, right? So there's these workshops that you can go in person. The idea is that we want to, if we can, get people interested that come to this to actually come to those other workshops the following week, and then have people register for the April 24th event. And something I will add here that is not here is like, the whole thing, if you want a tree and you live in the West Side, tell us. So that's like what Dorothy wants to do. By the way, Dorothy is the chair of the community council in West Point. And then we have just like a closure that James will do with like thinking about what are the main things that came out of this. And that's like for that week of the 17th. And then for the following week, we have the workshops 2, 3, and 4. And so these ones are the dates that you guys already picked. And for these ones, you need to look at, the people that also you really need to have in place, especially for the people who are like planting the trees and the flowers, and for the wayfinding. Like if you have an artist working with you, like you want them to come to this, right? And if you have like, someone at Triuta, or people from that are like from the public lands division. So you want to contact Nancy in advance and say, you know, yeah, can you like invite people to come to this workshop on site? Because there is that you're going to come up with questions to ask, but you also have to have some sort of idea of what you like to do, right? So the idea is like, oh, there's this like, you know, place where we can put a mural, and we have discussed the ideas of doing this or that, and then somebody will say, well, what about this or what about that, right? And similarly for the flowers, you can say, oh, we have identified these places, or maybe if it would be kind of a little bit hard because you also want the people that contact Nancy and the people that know about the water, and the people from Toyota that might know where to plant them. So you want to maybe use the workshop to ask them questions about what would be best, right? But you are the one who has to come up with the questions that you like to people to ask, or you like from people to tell you, right? And obviously, I'm going to invite the people from the, specifically from the Poplar Grove Council, just saying, you know, please send, you know, 1 or 2 people for each one of them. But what I want you to do is I think about what are some other groups that can take part, like neighborhood house, or just people from different community councils, the West Side Coalition, or someone from University Neighborhood Partners, people that you like to invite. And then, as I said before, there's like and I will post, because Liz created like a when it's good thing to try to find a good time for you guys to meet with Nancy and Luis. But what I'm trying to say about this is that we want everyone to have the opportunity to go and like give flyers out. So if some people can come to the 20th one, and then you guys can coordinate saying, you know, other people will go to the 24th. I think that that's like, that would be ideal, that you all have the chance to do it and that you divide the labor. And then I have like, oh, I think that this link is actually for, I shared like a, let me just like go here. Oh, yeah, that wasn't it, but this is like from before, just like, oh, this is incorrect, sorry. Let me just go back again. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. This what I sent like a is it like the collaborative or the collaborations. I sent a link saying like, hey, for the people that want to sign up, just please sign up. So I will find that link and post it, but it's in the collaborations to find the people that will volunteer for that. And then you have like a little template for this report. You have to create a report of what were the questions and what were decisions. It's something short. It doesn't have to be very extensive. It's just kind of like saying, oh, people said that it was a good idea to plant here, and then just take pictures. So we are asking for 10 images that could include you interacting with people to give them flyers, meetings in Zoom previously, actual pictures of like going and talking to people on the site. But these are like, you know, seems this report is just like simple notes of the questions and the decisions, and what you did basically during the time that you met. And this will be uploaded to Canvas, because as I said, there will be a team that will be kind of like collecting all these things and putting them into a report. And then you have like a presentation, as I said, This one is like 10 or 15 minutes per team. And you have to pick some students that will give the presentation and divide the labor that way. And this is in the collaboration tabs, like always. So here for the way to engage, to evaluate, we will have your colleagues like evaluate you in terms of like how you engage, participated, and work in these activities. So we have these 2 activities and like 5 points. And just kind of like saying, you know, it's a kind of like a Likert scale, saying that, yeah, you agree with this person engaging, or you strongly agree with their engagement. And obviously in all of this, I would be kind of like an arbiter, but I'm just kind of, you know, trying it this way. And I will create a link so that you can go and you can do this evaluation. So those are the 2 links that I was really missing. And now I noticed that that was like that other their link that I made, and it's under collaborations, but it linked incorrectly. Okay, so with that, I'm going to stop this, and you can ask questions, and then we can move on to the grant proposal. Let's see if you have questions.
For the grant proposals, I'm sorry. For the letter of, I forget what it's called specifically.
A letter of support, but that's
yes.
for the next assignment, which is the grant proposal. So I will move. Let me just see if people have questions about this one, and then we can talk about the grant proposal. That sound good?
Awesome, thank you.
Were there any questions about this task?
I was going to ask, so you'll be sharing the following, here's documents that you shared so far?
Yeah, I email it, but as I said, there's few things that I have to change, add. So I will add those tonight, and then I will email you saying it is in the homeworks tab. Plus, I will also attach it.
All right, thank you.
Okay, and if you do have questions, remember that I have like office hours, like every Tuesday, and those are 1, Fridays at 11, and also for next week, I will have office hours from 6 to 7, which is the time of the class. So if any questions come up, you can come and see me, or you can always email or call. I'm very slow in text, but you know, maybe maybe within 24 hours or something, I'll check that. Okay, so if there's no questions, we're going to answer Morgan's question, because we're going to go to the thinking about the grant proposal. So I will have to find Canvas here. I also wanted to say for the 17th, because I already did set this for the people that came, that I have toys, and I have like a playset kit. So if you guys want to come in person, I made like these bags in where basically you get like a bag with a hand sanitizer, and you can have like your own toys. And yeah, just I think it'll be fun. But we'll meet at the architecture planning, and then just in the studio, which is like in the basement, if you want to come and meet in person. And the public is invited too, so if you have friends and you like them to join, they can join as well. Okay, so I'm getting closer to being Canvas. Kind of. It's not showing up. Okay. So we'll go to assignments. And here I will post, tonight, the task number 4. But then this is actually this is task number 5, which is the grant application. And so if you go here, you see the application here, but then what like Morgan was asking about was like the letters of support, because you do need 2 letters of support, and from like people that you're working with. So like if you're working with 3 Utah, so it makes sense that you get a letter of support from them. And if like the Bennion Center is like bringing or helping you with volunteers, you might want to get a letter. I know that Taylor was talking about like a business that was interested in getting involved, so you can get like a letter of support from them. So it will be someone who offers something basically for that offers their support, right? So that the artist, since they're getting paid, or the landscaper, well, they're not really like supporting you, right? They're being, it's a transaction of payment. So what's important here is like when you write rants, and that's what I want you to learn, is that you want people to say, I will do X or Y for you. Like, I will find volunteers for you. I will participate in your workshop. If it's the community council, there is a like, yes, this person talked to me and I actually support what they're trying to do in my neighborhood. Even developers might get, letter of support saying, yeah, we went to but that's separate from grants, but you get the idea that people can support you. And then, so this is an example from a letter of support. There's examples there. What I always do when I want people to support me is that I make it very easy on them by writing a draft letter, and something that I kind of put together. Usually it will be something like who we are. So 3 Utah is an organization that is dedicated to do X, Y, and Z. Like this, you see like there's a mission statement. And, we have partnered with like, students in City and Metropolitan Planning, and also with the Public Lands Division. And we have this, we will be bringing this many people to as volunteers, and we will do X, Y, and Y. Sometimes you can even like ask for what is the value of that, because you do need to get like a little bit of that for the matching funds in the grant. So you could add things like that. But some of the things that here, it will be like, we have talked, or we have attended this, we have done this thing together, we are partners. So that's kind of like what this letter says. And there's like other examples there of other letters. But what I'm telling you to do is like, take a look at these. And what I will do is like, you write the letter and at least a basis for it. And then you say, you know, put your your logo and add whatever you want. But I try to help you by writing at least your mission, what you do, what are some of the conversations that we had, and how I envision you supporting me, right? So that's what I usually do for other people. And so here, like if we go to the, I mean, we can go to this and explain this in more detail. And there's also some examples. Let me also check, like, did Morgan, do you feel you have better idea of like letters of support?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, good. And you can always like, if you want to write a letter of support and then let me see it, I can like look at it as well. But usually like also like I do that because yeah, I also have done it a lot. So if you ask someone from a letter of support, they most likely have done it before. You know what I mean? So you might not need to like do a draft for them. You can ask them just for a letter, and then suggest that if you do you like me to do a draft if you don't have time, you know? So kind of like helping them out. But it is very likely that they know what a letter of support is. So
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Sorry.
do you have a question? No.
Yeah, just about the letters of support. So you,
Yeah.
just to clarify, you said that if we're working with an artist and we're paying the person, that it's not okay to ask for a letter of support from them.
Right, yeah,
We have to
because you usually it would be like people that are offering something to you for free, basically.
Okay.
Well, it could be that it's a community partner, yeah, and you're like paying them, but that's usually yeah, it's just usually not normal. Like I could, you know, if I work for university, if university pay neighborhood partners is supporting me and I pay them, I'm kind of assuming that, you know, there will be some things that they will not be compensated for, if that makes sense, right? So it's like maybe I'll compensate the staff, but then there's other people that do other things. So if the artist is bringing their bodies and they're not getting paid, well, yeah, then sure. then that the letter of support makes sense or something like that. If they're giving something as a gift, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So then,
Maybe, yeah, maybe they charge more and then they're doing something. So that's kind of like part of the idea.
okay.
That it's not a service, but it's a support.
Okay. Awesome. So then if we say we're working with like a community council for feedback
Yeah.
on some mural things, that then we could
Yeah.
feasibly ask them to write
Mhm.
it, and then
Yeah.
okay. And then if we were the city, like going to like Salt Lake, like our partners for a letter of support would probably be redundant, right? Like, I mean, I don't think, but they wouldn't be a good partner to reach out to. Right?
We have done it before.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's also about the exercise of getting a letter, right?
Great.
And they will know how to write those letters as well.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
So I mean, we have here, I actually like added one more thing here that is not here because like Nancy wants some people, not all, but do a presentation on April 1st. I believe it might be a Thursday or something. for the peanut board. So she wants you to present what you're planning to do. But you know, that's like yeah, like an additional kind of thing. And it will be, you know, like not presenting exactly this. It's just more saying like we will be doing X, Y, and Z, just keeping them posted. So I don't even know if I want to add it as part of like the deadline for the grant itself. So here we have like just, you know, your information, email, phone, what are you trying to do, a statement of the problem. So this is more about like, you know, why this project is important, who will benefit, what problem, community issue does the project addresses. So if it's, you know, for example, there's a windstorm and there's like some trees that got like knocked down, or you know, the city, there's not that many trees here, so it's kind of like making an argument. And I already know what's the issue, or I would not even qualify it as a problem really, but this is more again of an exercise of you like doing this. So you learn like how usually organizations like NeighborWorks will ask you for a mini grant, and this is literally from their mini grant. So these are the things that they do ask. Estimate the individuals, home, businesses, and private properties that will benefit from the project. And this is again, just it could be direct, like this many people will show up, estimated, or you can be like, go back to that report on like the like the half mile, and then figure out, oh, there's, you know, 200 homes here, this many individuals, so they will benefit. That's kind of like up to you to write whatever you want there. Then just like which neighborhoods and blocks, so we already know of these, right? Because it's the Poplar Grove, just put a map in there. And then this is just more about the activities themselves. So who are the partners with you? What is the timeline? So here you will copy and paste stuff like, we will have, you know, we have conversations on this day with this person, or we went the day that we went together. You can put that as part of the timeline. You can put the workshops. So just like stuff like that. And then this is just again the partners. And this could be individuals as well, or organizations, or it could be businesses. And then you need like 2 letters of support. Okay, so I think it will, you know, for your purposes, it would be probably okay to get a little support from the business. But that's not usually a thing. But I'm gonna say that, yeah, that's okay as an option. But just so you know, that's not like normal, I guess, for grant proposals. And then, you know, like how many hours will contribute, dollars, just kind of like ensure an agreement. So I think that this is a little bit repetitive, so like how will the group do the project, but you can write more here on that. Part of it is because this part front is like more kind of like asking for just some details, and then here is like try to elaborate on some details. Important dates. I think that all of these kind of parts of like what we have done there before. Literally, this is their application, so I'm like just copy and pasted these. Then what we want is a letter of supports. and then just copy and paste that. When you see the examples, there might be some copy and pasting there of that. And then here, we talked about this before. So it's just like, what would you be buying if it's like food? Usually we put quantity, like, you're gonna buy like 100 tacos or something. And from Tacos Daniel, and 0 donations, we're actually going to pay for this, right? So you can put here that is cash. It's not a match either because it's not a donation. And then you can put the cost. So here you will have things that you might pay, or things that people give you for free. And then if you have volunteers, you can add them here by even like in summary, like we have 10 volunteers or whatever it is. And if you find people, this is like, if people wanted to give money or food or anything, you can put like, what is the dollar value, which, usually, as I said, is like $10 the hour for volunteers. And this is something that NeighborWorks asks from people, where they will find, what's the phone number. Well, what they're trying to do is like for you to find volunteers. So if you have friends or any people that said that they will come, you can just add them here, add their contact information. I'm gonna go back to here and look at the examples. Yeah, so this example is like actually from the West Side Studio. There's other ones that are about my other class. And in this case, they asked me for a letter of support. So it was like 2. And you can see again, just the project description, kind of like the problem, just a map. Here they included like the mural artists, and there was like volunteers, and some of these things were like to be determined, and that's fine. With the venue center, they asked for volunteers as well. And just put like a little schedule in there. And they also asked for a letter from University Neighborhood Partners. But I feel that you guys have like lots of options. And this is just more about what we actually bought, or they bought, which is, they go anti-graffiti, clear coat paint, which is important for murals, and it's kind of expensive, $70. Spray paint, whatever. And then the volunteers. And they also listed themselves as volunteers. And the teachers too, volunteers. And that's it. It's just like it's an exercise, The most important thing that I care about is this part. Because this part, I'm going to be looking at it very carefully. This is the part that, like what you be buying and how much it's going to cost. That, this is where I feel like I can give you more recommendations. But of course, like, for the partners and all that, I can give you recommendations as well. But I already have been doing that all along through the other just the collaborations notes. So, and there's several of these examples. There's 4 examples that you can look at. And I'm sure that you will have like more questions as like you get into it. And I really encourage you to particularly start thinking about the money part, you know, of like what are you gonna be buying. So I wanted to give you some time to go into your groups and have a talk about just, you know, in general,